I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us here on Closing Arguments. And for those of you who watch the whole show, you know at the end of the program every night, and been doing it for years, I remind everyone to hug the kids. Don't forget to hug the kids. And I do that for many reasons. And the reasons are obvious, right? Children need us. They need love. They need attention. And let's remember and keep them as our top priority always, always. And of course, it's a reminder to parents like me, yeah, I gotta hug my kids. Yeah, they're getting older, still gotta hug them though, right? But also, as a reminder for us as the adults in society, because there are some children who are in very unfortunate circumstances. And their parents, who you would hope would be there to do that, maybe aren't doing that. And we, as the rest of society, gotta keep our eyes open and see if we see something that just doesn't seem right, something that seems off. And if we see a child that may be in distress, do something about it. Speak up, make a call, whatever you have to do to help that child. Because all of us, I think, should be looking out for every child, because we don't know if someone else's child is not being cared for the way we care for our own children. So that's why I do it. That's why I do it. And tonight, we've got a couple of disturbing stories that really highlight the need for this. And these details are disturbing, and these cases are shocking on many levels, because you and I, as parents, those of you who are parents, understand that we would never even consider doing the things that these parents are accused of. So let's get to it. The first one. 4-year-old girl, let me show you a picture of her. Paislee is her name. 4 years old, disappears in 2019. She was reported missing out of New York, Tompkins County, New York. At the time, she had guardians. Her parents did not have custody of her. And there were suspicions that she had in fact been abducted by her non-custodial parents, Kimberly Cooper and Kirk Shultis. Well, on February 14th, Valentine's Day again, after receiving information that there was a child was being held within a hidden location at a residence, police responded and they obtained a warrant. Let's listen to the police chief describe some more for us right now.
But the detective said there was something odd about the stairs, just the way they were constructed, the way they felt when he was walking on them. And he said he took a closer look at the stairs. And between two of the stair boards, there's a crack. He used a flashlight, looked in there, and he saw what he believed was a blanket at the bottom. So they used a halogen tool and they started removing the steps of the staircase. And sure and behold, they found a little pair of feet.
In the staircase is where they found this little girl. She's been missing since 2019. And you know, when you have young children missing since 2019, we always think the worst. Now, the chief also indicated that they had been to this house, investigated, been there about a dozen times before. But now they had further information, and these investigators were able to actually find Paislee. Unbelievable. Take a look. Here are the parents. Take a look. We got pictures of them. Kirk and Kimberly Cooper and Kirk Sr. So you got grandpa, dad, and mom all under arrest as a result of all this, charged with custodial interference in the first degree. Unbelievable. Let me bring in my guest joining me tonight in Jacksonville, Alabama, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, forensic media analyst, former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, Joseph Scott Morgan. In Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator Jason Jensen. And in Los Angeles, California, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman is with us. Great to see everyone here tonight. All right, Dr. Lieberman, Dr. Carol, let me begin with you. Let's start with your concerns tonight for this child. What are your top concerns for this child's well-being tonight?
Well, when they found her, they said that she was healthy. They had her examined. She was physically healthy, but she couldn't read or write because they hadn't brought her to school, and they hadn't brought her to a doctor. So they didn't do any keep up with the kinds of treatment that you're supposed to give children. But an interesting story is how they said that when they were driving her away from the house, they passed a McDonald's, and she said how, oh, I remember McDonald's. I would love to have a McDonald's, something like that. And they brought her in for a McDonald's, a Happy Meal. That kind of speaks volumes in a way, in terms of the fact that she isn't that destroyed by what happened. I mean, it's not great, but she wasn't kept in this under the stairs forever. She was only put there when the police would come or someone would come looking for her. So it wasn't like she was kept there for 2 years, but it is going to be an incredible adjustment because they're going to expect her to be happy about going to the legal guardians, the people that she was supposed to go to when her parents abducted her. And it's not going to just be that easy. Oh, like I'm saved. That's not what it's going to be like. She's going to feel some loyalty to her parents.
There's the pictures of this staircase, this situation. Joseph Scott Morgan, this is disturbing on many levels. What really surprised me here is that on the cop shows that I watch, I always reference cop shows, right? I was reared on them. They're always able to go into some room and find that secret room. And I always think to myself, no, that's just not realistic. It doesn't work that way. But it worked in this case. Officers were able to find this secret location.
Yeah, it's almost like it was written or scripted in terms of Hollywood. The guy walking up the staircase, squeaky board, pulls out his flashlight, and happens to catch a glimpse of a blanket that's there. And then the next thing he knows, he sees part of a body. It may have been her feet, I can't recall specifically, but can you imagine at that moment in time, they've been looking for this little girl for a while, as you know, Vint. And for that moment, he has, I'm sure that he questioned in his own mind, am I actually seeing this? Is this real? Because, most of the cases that we cover and that I've worked over the course of my career have not ended in a happy manner like this. I mean, at the end of the day, this little girl is physically intact at this point. Now, to the doctor's point, I don't know what her mental status is going to be moving forward. It's going to be certainly an uphill climb.
Jason Jensen, they'd been there a dozen times. They suspected that these parents were responsible for the abduction, but they just couldn't find her. Are you surprised by that?
Well, no, not really. Given the fact that I'm a private investigator, I'm often hired in child custody disputes like this because it doesn't fall within the jurisdiction of law enforcement. So oftentimes when people want to litigate or prepare for litigation, they'll hire a private investigator. So knowing, from my experience, this is probably a highly contentious situation. They did want to let the kids go. The kids were removed for either child neglect or abuse initially anyway. So they most likely abducted this child from the yard of their guardian, a court-appointed guardian, and then disappeared. So given the fact that the child was never found, they often suspected that this was the work of the actual biological parents.
Dr. Lieberman, let me ask you, when forensic psychiatrists or whoever is speaking to the child to try to get information, do you think they'll get the whole story of what happened to her, how she was treated, what transpired over the last couple of years? She's young to begin with, and to be through all this trauma. Do you think that information will be able to be extracted from this young child?
Well, in therapy, yes, but slowly. She's not going to just overnight talk about everything that happened. And I don't think that she's going to be seeing what happened to her in these past 2 years as bad as what people are expecting her to think, because she was with her mother and her father, and they had a room for her with her name in the room. That was, and they told the police that it was because they were having it ready for when she returns. But really, she had a room and she had toys and she had, clothes and so on. So it has to be done very, very delicately, because any attempt at trying to say that her parents were wrong, getting her to turn against them really quickly would not work.
Joseph Scott Morgan, when you think about this case, and we cover so many missing children, and oftentimes we always, in the back of our minds, we have worst case scenario kind of lined up there. Yet here you find someone who is alive. To me, that should be a motivating factor and give hope to other families and motivate investigators who are working on other cases involving missing children.
Yeah. Vin, you and I have been doing this for a long time together over the years, and you're more the optimist than I am. I with a case like this, it gives me hope, and I think that it should embolden other people in that manner. You have to take hope where you can find it. And looking at this case, also what's really amazing about this, Vin, is how much work had to go into this. I'm not talking about from the investigators. Yeah, I'm just talking about from a concealment standpoint. They're actively searching for this child, and the lengths that these parents went to conceal her, cut off from everyday activity, outside world. It's an amazing thing that they have recovered this child.
Jason Jensen, you mentioned you work on a lot of cases where there's a battle for custody of children. Are you surprised by the lengths that this couple went to retain and keep custody of their child illegally?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, this is an extreme case, one I've never seen. But clearly, these kinds of fears are out there. I mean, that's one of the reasons why in Utah, the legislature passed a law that allowed private investigators to GPS track people because of fears like this, where if one custodial parent fears that the other one's going to run off with the kid, we can put a tracker on the car and make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, when we come back, we've got a couple of stories like this, and it's unfortunate, but it's what's happening in the real world. We're going to take you down to Florida, very affluent neighborhood in Jupiter. And in this neighborhood, it's not a young child, but a teenager who is locked in an 8x8 box with a padlock on the outside. You can't open it from the inside. Once you're in there, you are locked inside. It's in the garage. And these parents put their own adopted child inside that home. That's what prosecutors are saying. We'll take a look at how investigators were tipped off next.